She just my broom, just might go to jail.
All right, here we are. That was Superstitious, and we're talking to David Budge he's lead vocalist on this CD, The Druids of Stonehenge. Great song, that Superstitious Blues.
Thank you. I know most people probably relate to the Jeff Beck version with Rod Stewart singing lead. Certainly that turned us on when we first heard it, and I think about everybody since then has done it in that style. And what's life without a little change? So we did change it up, and hopefully for your listeners, an enjoyable way.
Yeah, got a little bit of a tango beat to it, or yeah,
a little rumba.
So talking to David Budge from the Druids of Stonehenge, and actually, okay, when you formed, it was the Druids, and then you made a trip out west and said, okay, the Druids of Stonehenge. What was the significance of that?
Well, interestingly enough, or maybe not, it was legality. Our record company, in order to put out our first album in '67, didn't want a copyright issue to come up and force any sort of confrontation on that level. So to play it safe and to keep the spirit going, they added of Stonehenge, because we had been known, like the Rolling Stones are usually referred to as the Stones. We were the Druids. They added of Stonehenge for legal reasons, and that way they could release our album without any possible hint of a copyright issue arising. Mm-hmm. We came out to California from our home base in New York in '67 to finish up the album, be there for its release.
Now that was Creation, right? Was that Creation?
That's what it was called, and is called, I should say. Mm-hmm. And then we headed north because we heard that there was this thing happening up in San Francisco, and everybody was talking about the Summer of Love. And we liked the sound of that. We've always been about sharing the love, and so that seemed like the place to go. And off we went. The record company rented us, I think, a Ford Econoline van. That could or could not be right, but it was a van, and it was big enough for the band and our equipment. And though they thought we were going to return it to the local, rent-a-truck, we went up to San Francisco in it, and it was there that we got the opportunity to open for Big Brother and the Holding Company.
Oh, wow.
With Her Highness, Janis Joplin. And if there was ever a difficult task that I faced, it was following that lady, because we got to play a show in between two of the Big Brother shows. Uh-huh. That was in the Avalon Ballroom. Mm-hmm. I must say that it was very difficult for bands to get work. There were so many bands, Michael, in San Francisco in the Summer of Love.
Wow.
You had to beg, borrow, steal, or know somebody, to get your foot in the door. And Chet Helms, God rest his soul, liked the Druids, liked that we had the moxie to come up there, being a New York City band, and compete with the Dead and the Airplane and the Sons of Champlin and all the bands that were there at the time, who had established themselves already. He said, look, I can give you a slot in between two of Big Brother's sets. Do you want it? And we jumped. And I got to confess, it wasn't the greatest reception we've ever gotten. Because how can you follow Janis Joplin?
Yeah.
But she came back to the dressing room afterwards, and she and I had a little dialogue in which she calmed my nerves by offering me some of her patented Southern comfort. And what kind of man would I be if I refused a drink from that lady, right?
I was going to say, I have this sense, just seeing, and watching different things, documentaries, whatever, about her, that she was a really sweet lady.
You couldn't have said it better, Mike. I mean, she remembered us.
Yeah.
As we traveled east from San Francisco and began playing gigs with our new guitarist, so I'll backtrack a little. Bill Tracy, one of the original Druids, decided to pursue his PhD in English literature, and we found one Elliot Randall in the most unlikely place, Lima, Ohio, where he was teaching music, and convinced him that, you know, his life really had no meaning unless he joined the Druids. And somehow we persuaded him.
Yeah.
And so it was an amazing couple of years with Elliot, who could literally play anything and play it backwards, forwards, and inside out. And eventually we wound up back in New York with that lineup, stopping in Philadelphia to play at a club called the Electric Factory. And we were watching, and I forget even the act that was on. It might have been Moby Grape, who we had opened for a year before, or Vanilla Fudge, who we did open for at the Electric Factory a couple of nights after that. And I was tapped on the shoulder, and I turned around, and there's Janis Joplin with a big grin on her face. And she was riding the shoulders of a guy who was dressed up in a gorilla outfit. And it was a stunning visual, to say the least.
Yeah.
And she said, "My friends, the Druids, where y'all been?" And we just picked up, as you know, where we left off, you know. And yeah, she was a charmer and just, you know, a genuine human being who we loved and adored, and not just because, you know, she was a great performer, but just she was a great person, much like Jimmy.
Yeah.
You know, everybody sees Jimmy the guitar god, and they don't really know what a warm heart and big soul he had, and how, you know, he was really, you know, attuned to the human vibe and made every effort to connect. Janis was like that too.
Neat. What are we going to put up next?
Well, in the spirit of keeping things on the raucous side, here, how about Nose Wide Open? It kind of evokes that club spirit that we've been talking about, and it's a little on the rowdy side, but I think you'll get a visual right away of what's going on. And of course, the lyrics are very colorful, and I don't think need in-depth explanation.
And written by Hanley Johnson, right?
Exactly so.
Alrighty. Here's She's Got My Nose Open from the Druids of Stonehenge and Resurrection.